we work in design, so.
So you're in a design package. Okay.
Yes.
And does that design package have any sort of, does it take a track of history, who's modified the design over the last day or week or anything like that? Yeah. So let's say your colleague, you're in your design package, you've noticed that a colleague made a modification to the design yesterday, you don't really understand, you're not quite sure whether you agree with it. It'd be great to have a quick chat about it. You've got the name. How about right-clicking on that name and you get a drop-down menu then to say, would you like to IM this person? Would you like to voice call this person? Would you like to video call this person? Okay. Would that be neater than having to close down your design application, go somewhere else and start communicating with that person? Okay. So that's a direction of travel. Okay. Building in a communication capability via an API that your design package vendor might provide, and we and other people become a communication engine in the background. But the start point is whatever you're used to using on a daily basis. Okay. At the bottom of the chart here, how do you get thousands, tens of thousands of people into a single conference? Well, you need some, heavy-duty kit on the network to allow that scalability and to allow that translation capability on the network as well. When you have thousands of video conferencing systems or hundreds or tens of video conferencing systems on your network, how do you manage all those things? Do you need one person in every location who knows video, who can go and sort of do stuff to the video, or do you do what we do, have a centralized management? And there are 10 people in Polycom who look after about 7,000 video conferencing systems and thousands of video conferences per day inside our organization. They reach out over the network and sort of, they again push stuff at my VC system at home. How do you make sure that there's failover redundancy? So we've built a mechanism whereby we can fail over to redundant deployments of these systems. If there's a fault in one, it'll advertise that fault onto the network and we can fail over onto alternative systems. How do you get from the LAN, which is secure, over the internet through somebody else's, and for example, we're showing it at the back here, we're going through a secure firewall to get to my colleague John Richardson there, who's sitting in Slough in one of our immersive telepresence systems. And would you like to record your video conferencing meetings? Okay, if it's a training application you're using it for, wouldn't it be nice to stream out to a few people and actually record it and have people browse onto that later as well? So these are all of the vendors that we're currently working with to build those interfaces, so to allow Polycom to be in the background, potentially in your face as well with cameras and microphones, but using that sort of core technology in the background to make it effective. And one thing that's happening, as I mentioned earlier, is this requirement for Polycom now to be able to allow people who are using social media engines to get into business grade conferences. And the mechanism we've announced in October last year, just started shipping in the last month or so, is Cloud Access Suite. Okay, so you can see down the left-hand side there that there are various contacts that will be presented to you on your PC, which are being actually gathered up from the contacts that are within your Skype buddy list, your Facebook friends list, your Google Talk list, and we're gathering them into that list on the left-hand side of the screen there. And if you're a Skype user, sir, I could start to initiate a call, so I'm using Cloud Access. You're outside of my organization using Skype. You will receive from me, once I've dragged you into the calling window, an IM in your Skype chat window. That IM will be a web address that you click on, and an application will be downloaded to your PC, which will effectively turn your PC then into a conferencing engine, which will participate in a video conference with me. Okay, so I'm not using your Skype video, but I'm giving you a video capability which is compatible with the stuff I'm using internally, which is Polycom, but also we'll get the Facebook guys into the same conference and the Google Talk guys into the same conference. So if you're considering how your video might expand beyond just talking to your colleagues, but talking to your customers and talking to your supply chain, and you've no idea, you've no control over what they will be using. And very often you will find, well, we don't use video very much, but when we do, we use Skype. You say, well, that's no problem. With cloud access running on my network, I can get you into my conferences. Okay. You do find that occasionally, and I would say, too frequently, people have deployed video, and they're kind of interested and a bit concerned that people don't come to use it inside their organizations as much as they would have hoped. So there's a sort of a bump to get over to get people to use it and to start, for the organization to start to enjoy the business benefits. If you ever come across that situation, talk to Digicom and ourselves, and we have within our portfolio now a recently developed adoption and utilization program. And through the learnings we've had with other clients, we can absolutely help you over those initial bumps in the road through the provision of adoption portals. We can advertise the availability of video. We can have training videos on there to show people how to use it first, little tricks of the trade, etc., etc. And at the back end, we have the measurement of usage and the translation of those measurements into business benefits. So if you do wish to report on the business benefits that are being accrued from the use of video, that's on there as well. Okay. So for Polycom in the future, you will see a continued focus on making the experiences as good as possible when you're in video, but also widening the choice of start points for video communications. Okay, so we're talking about, it will be on your mobile phone, it'll be on your tablet, it will be in your social networking engines, and in time you will be able to start it from whatever applications you're operating in most of the time on your PC. Multi-vendor integration is absolutely key for us. And one of the ways we will compete with the big beast, which is Cisco, is through the partnership with other big beasts like Siemens and Microsoft and IBM. Okay, so you'll see a continued sort of focus in that area, and a lowering of the total cost of ownership. You'll see software only implementations of high-end network-based capability. Right now you need a big box to do that scalability and translation, and in time you'll see software-only implementations of that large enterprises and service providers will be able to use on their network, on their industry standard servers. Okay. I do like to show that slide as a summary. Can anybody see the position of Polycom on that slide? According to Forrester, number one position, particularly because of the strategy of Polycom of partnership. Forrester liked the idea that you could choose best-in-class call routing systems, best-in-class IM and presence engines, and add a video component to that from a best-in-class video vendor, rather than some of the competitors offer, which is if you get the call routing engine from us and the video conferencing systems from us and the IM presence engines from us, then it's brilliant, it all works together really, really well. And that's fine until probably you're presented with the maintenance bill for the second year. And they find that, some of the analysts were finding that there was 90% price differential between maintenance on single vendor sort of deployments versus multi-vendor deployments. I guess you can understand the reason for that. Okay. When you do get it all right, these are the sort of figures that you can see in terms of savings and effects on the business. So travel is the big one, but there's a host of other measures there. And interestingly, Polycom stopped flying candidates to meet managers and managers to meet candidates during our recruitment and selection process. And as a consequence, we took, as a partial consequence, we took 90% of the cost of our recruitment and selection process out of the equation. We used, for senior hires, we were flying managers to meet them and then to meet managers in the US. That's stopped almost entirely. We did some other stuff as well. We don't pay agents and all that sort of stuff to find people now either. But you can see the sort of the average figure there, but we have an outlier, if you like, of 90% saving through the use of video. Okay, so more or less on time.
That's great.
A little bit over.
That's great.
as usual. But thank you very much. I will be around later on. There's a Q&A session later, I believe. So if you do have any questions, you can hit me there. Any subsequent questions, Digicom, Niall is around all the time as well. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Ray. So I'm a man of pictures, seeing is understanding. So just in summary, here's a little video just to talk very quickly through what Ray was talking about there.
Polycom Real Presence Video Solutions add lifelike video, audio, and content to the places you work and live. It's the Polycom Real Presence platform, the infrastructure in the background that ensures consistently great quality and reliability, allowing you to scale your video network as your needs grow. The Real Presence platform makes video collaboration easy to use and access by providing the essentials that make video a natural part of your everyday workflows. These include multi-party video conversations where groups of people from across your organization can virtually collaborate and share content with each other in real time, regardless of the device or application they are using. Proactive administration tools for provisioning, monitoring, troubleshooting, and reporting gives your IT department visibility and control of their video network. Network management that drives lower total cost of ownership and maximizes the usage of resources on your network by dynamically distributing video calls based on prioritization, bandwidth availability, and class of service. A single unified dialing plan for voice and video applications that makes it easy for your employees to call each other over video. Seamless and secure business-to-business communication extends the power and impact of video collaboration beyond the boundaries of your company. Your executives want to meet face-to-face with customers, vendors, partners, and suppliers to speed time to market, build deeper relationships, and stand out from the crowd. Finally, the Polycom Real Presence platform provides the ability to capture, store, and share your most important events and interactions, such as trainings, depositions, lectures, and more, all on demand and available when your employees need them. The platform also extends the benefits of video collaboration to new places in your organization through native integration with UC applications, such as Microsoft Link, IBM SameTime, Google Talk, and more. The Real Presence platform provides all of these benefits and more for organizations around the world, and it does so with up to 50% less bandwidth than competitive solutions, while being more scalable than any offering in the market. Given that the majority of IT departments say interoperability is their toughest challenge, the Polycom Real Presence platform is standards-based and interoperable, which is critical when incorporating video collaboration into your UC environment. You need a solution that works with your existing network and easily integrates into your workflows. Video collaboration has become a critical part of the way we work, share, and learn. Count on the Polycom Real Presence platform to power video collaboration across any environment in your world. Click here to learn more about the Polycom Real Presence platform.
Okay, so next part of our presentation is in relation to a real-time client who has deployed video conferencing. So with that in mind, I'd like to introduce you to Brian Donovan, who is Program Operations Manager with ECDL. Well, I'm right. Sit down, make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
To my Michael Parkinson bit now. So we're just going to basically discuss with you Brian's application and how video conferencing is working for them. So just to explain, ECDL, European Computer Driver's License, was started in 1997, about 15 years ago, by a guy called Donovan. Started in a kitchen in Sir John Richardson's Quay. And the premise of the company is it's based on a Finnish concept where one is trying to get computer certification deployed throughout Europe for a certain standard of computer usage. So to train and certify computer skills. It's very, very successful in Ireland, in particular if you have any TY students, transition year students. It's one of those applications that is very, very useful for them to get. So just explain, you're based in Dublin and?
Yeah, we're literally around the corner there in Ringsend. As I said, we started in John Rogerson's Quay in a kitchen. We moved to an apartment, and now we're in an office space down in Ringsend. But alongside that, we've opened 5 regional offices in the last 3 years.
Okay.
So we're in an office in Brussels, Singapore, Dubai, Philadelphia, and Cairo.
Okay. Okay. So starting out, obviously, when you wanted to get in contact with those particular sites, you used to just the phone, plain old telephone service.
Yeah.
And I guess if you wanted to have meetings with all those people, you'd organise. How did that
Yeah,
over?
I would say before last year we started to organise monthly, let's say, management meetings. So a representative from each of those offices would come to Dublin. Our head office is Dublin, so we would meet in the Gibson, maybe 2 days. So long haul travel, 2 nights in possibly a hotel around Dublin, Gibson in particular, and spend 2 days meeting. Yeah, so that's when we started looking at this. We started looking at what options we could do to cut down that kind of travel.
So the first video aspect of it was to try web conferencing.
Yeah, I mean, we started off with, we thought GoToMeeting or WebEx or one of these products would do the job, and we'd set it up in our boardroom, and we'd be able to show the full boardroom and transfer that over the internet. But what we found is it's a different product. It's a kind of one-on-one solution, whereas we wanted to show a whole room to these offices. These were more one-on-one kind of show presentation from one person to another. So we thought we'd get a nice webcam with one of these applications, but to be honest, it never worked the way we wanted it.
Okay.
So that's when we kind of looked at video conferencing,
Okay.
a higher end solution.
Okay. So this is actually the boardroom that ECDL use, and so the dual screen scenario here. One screen's obviously for if you want to have data.
Exactly. So from our monthly management meetings, we now have a call every Monday. So at 10 o'clock in the morning we call Singapore, around 12 o'clock we call Dubai and Egypt. We talk to Brussels in the afternoon, and the US, I would say 3 or 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So yeah, on one side we show, it's probably one person at the far end, so it's, or 2. On the other screen it's either a presentation or a document. That's why we have the 2 screens.
So it's all over IP.
Yeah.
And obviously there was bandwidth requirements. So can you just maybe talk through
Yeah,
that one there?
that was a concern when we were looking at this, because we had the kind of basic package from Aircom, but it did work. We did change to UPC to try and just make sure we had a better connection. But
Okay.
to be honest, we didn't have any bandwidth issues.
Okay. So the telcos seem to be upgrading bandwidth for the price of what you're already paying anyway.
Yeah, we did.
So
The
you're
price didn't go up for us.
actually-
We got a better connection off UPC,
Okay,
but
okay.
we didn't increase the price there.
And just in relation to, obviously, they're coming out with fancy download figures. The upload is more important for.
It is for us, yeah. I mean, they're all connected with VPN, so the upload rate from our office out was key. And what we had with Aircom was less than a meg, so we upgraded that just to be safe.
Okay.
We're fine with speeds, basically.
Okay, so it's important to be candid. I mean, video conferencing in the past has had issues in relation to connectivity, problems in relation to ease of use, freeze frame. How has it been generally for you?
In general, it's fine, but we found sometimes if on the far end, on each of the offices, we're using the telepresence software
Okay.
at the moment. The plan is to upgrade to a kind of larger solution in the remote offices to get more people in. But this, in general, it works fine. Sometimes you need to get a proper HD webcam. That's the only thing. A built-in webcam on the laptop at times isn't raised. With freeze frame, that kind of thing, in general, we don't have an issue with it.
Okay. Culture within the organisation, just how have they embraced it? How's it working for them? Obviously.
Well, obviously Mondays are a disaster now because it's meetings every hour.
Right. Back to back.
But from a company point of view, it's great for communication. And people were intimidated when you see the 2 screens there. You see your face on the screen. You're worried about your hair, you're worried about your makeup and whatnot. But they got over that, and making calls is quite easy. Shortcut keys. You bring up your list of favourites there, and it's press a button and you contact them.
Okay.
So it's straightforward.
Okay, so I imagine the facilities in Asia, Philadelphia, Singapore, the ROI is sort of self-explanatory. I mean, I would imagine it would be within 1 year between flights, accommodation, downtime.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's not only these kind of management meetings on a Monday. Everybody is using it now because it's, if you're talking to someone in Singapore and you need to get them at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you need to talk about something, it's far easier to have a face-to-face rather than a phone call. So people are just taking it on themselves, actually.
Sure. It sort of prompts my next call. Aside from the obvious, or my next question is, aside from the obvious return on investment over a pretty short period of time, what else has it done for the organisation?
It's the improvement in communication is the biggest point.
Okay.
Talking to these guys, they're a different side of the world, and you get them once a week or twice a week, and now it's kind of a regular face-to-face, whereas they're kind of, if you don't see them and you're talking to them over the phone, it's a different type of communication. They're kind of out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. But now people are just, the communication within the 5 offices is improved a whole lot.
So the once a month meeting where all the parties came in,
Yeah.
that's been reduced to what now?
I would say every 6 months we would have a kind of on-site meeting.
So it's never going to eliminate, but it certainly reduces.
No, definitely not. We still have to have that, but it definitely reduces the cost of having that on a bi-monthly or a monthly basis. Yeah.
And obviously, European you've now gone international, so
Yeah.
you're expanding.
Exactly, and as I said, the clients at the far end are using the bit of software on the laptop, but we're definitely going to, our phase 2 would be get a better solution at the far end offices into slightly smaller boardrooms than we have, but to kind of get more people into the call. At the moment it's kind of all of us in the boardroom to one person at the far end.
Okay.
But that's something we're going to improve on.
Okay. I guess at this stage I'd like to bring back Ray and just ask, there's obviously the technology you will see in action. We've actually got people in London and in outside of the hotel in Dublin as well. For this part of the session, does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask in relation to what we've seen so far?
Just Brian, any resistance within the organisation to
Yeah, I guess at times people like to travel. You know, they do like to go to places like Singapore or Brussels or wherever. But you know, the fact that they can do it more frequently now and have more calls and cost savings, it was kind of, wasn't forced on them, but they realised the benefits of it, I think.
Yeah.
People with other kind of network structures ever have issues connecting, or when you're running down from their end? Because obviously we have these in here, but obviously different countries you might have a school service as we do. I feel isolated. Certain people don't have the equivalent of deal with video conferencing or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take up a huge amount of bandwidth, but yeah, I mean, Cairo for us now is kind of an issue because the internet comes on and off.
Yeah.
That's the only issue we have really. Otherwise, it's quite straightforward. They're all in a VPN, so they come in fairly easily. And if they're not, the US isn't. So we have an external IP address, so they come in over this firewall traversal. So they can dial us directly. Plus it means people with iPads and that can dial us directly as well, which makes it kind of easy. But in general, yeah, the bandwidth isn't usually a problem for us.
I guess the evolvement of video conferencing over IP in particular, so the ISDN is now sort of fading away. None of the more recent deployments that we would have would be over ISDN at all. They'd all be over IP, and there's a gateway there for those who have to go ISDN. But I guess one of the things, and maybe Ray wanted to just talk a little bit more on this, is that I think where video conferencing starts within an organisation is as in an intranet scenario, so amongst in its own network. The next step then is the use of sort of maybe suppliers or clients that you want to talk to on a regular basis. And there's some firewall concerns there, so Polycom have got some firewall traversal components that can overcome that.
Yeah.
But it's always nice to step one, get the organisation familiar with the culture of using video, and take it from there.
There's a couple of things. You should look for technologies that reduce the bandwidth requirement. So that claim I made facetiously, if you like, at the start of the presentation about bandwidth utilization. Look for something called it's H.264 is a standard. There is an extension to that standard which we have called high profile, and that can reduce your bandwidth for HD conferencing down to about 512 kilobits is when we step into HD mode. I'm not sure what sort of bandwidth you're using yourself your calls.
I can't say what we're using. We don't test what we're using on the call. We did increase our bookings, etc. Right? We just
Right.
have issues to get into testing.
Okay.
Effect.
Yeah. So we'll kick off at 512 for one of the HD modes called 720p, and I think it's about 800 and something K where we step up to the 1080p. That's one area to look at is whether that annex of the standard is supported. And then the other thing to look at is a technology which we call lost packet recovery. And it basically says, if I'm sending you a video conferencing picture, what I'm actually doing is most often sending you instructions to reuse information that I've previously sent you. Because during the course of a video conference, I haven't visibly aged or anything like that. I look kind of the same. I might be moving around, but I can send you an instruction to say, take that piece of the video image and move it, because that's all that's happening. Okay, so I'm sending little instructions to reuse data. You can build a bit of intelligence, given that that's happening, into the system then to say that I've actually lost a packet, but why don't you reuse? I'll make an assumption about what was happening in the picture. Why don't you reuse some of the information that you already have? For example, that white wall in the background in a video conference. If you lose a packet describing a bit of that white wall, you can make an assumption that there was nothing really happening except white in the area which would have been described in the packet. So let's just use some adjacent data. And we can reapply that sort of technology to both the video and the voice. Other people have other names for it, but that's an important consideration as well, that you make it a bit more robust. So driving bandwidth down makes it inherently more reliable, and then putting a layer of protection on the data as well helps.
So what we'd like to do now is maybe get you to have a look at some of the technology. We have some telepresence calls that we're making at the moment out, and obviously there's a group of people here, experts in the space, Polycom, Digicom, and Brian will be here for a short while as well. If you want to have a quick one-to-one chat with him, by all means feel free to do so. So I guess if we could just go to the back of the room then just have a look at some of the video, the technology in action. Who's going to take that?
Far back, something a little bit here. So I just want to Sean is my name, the manager of Polycom and Digicom properties that are in our so we do a lot of events and thank you all for coming this morning. So just to run through a little bit on the setup here. As Ray mentioned, this is one of our systems. So testing up these mobile designs, but you'll also always have some group systems. So Digicom have various setups here. These nice stands.
Drop that, yeah.
So I'm just going to join in a second. There's lots of apologies on that.
Maybe from the room.
You want to
Go to the room.
Okay.
Just leave it that
we
way.
just want to show multi-party a few different things, but the setup here is probably 50-inch display. We have got these type of systems here as well, where like executive desktop. So this is one of my colleagues over in City West. To introduce the people here, John Richardson is in Polycom in Slough, and Alan Oliphant. Alan, you're up in Scotland area?
Yep, I am. A very wet, rainy Scotland this morning.
Okay, so we're going out on a hotel network. It's just to show the capabilities of the units. John is in his office.